Okay, there we go. Hey, everybody. Take my glary glasses off. How's everybody doing today? Welcome, welcome. Very warm Las Vegas. Ooh, Las Vegas. Hi, Tracy. Hello, hello. Yeah, so it's a weird, we've had bad storms past couple days, and so it's not raining now, so we shouldn't have any interruption, but normally I don't have a whole lot of interruption. Our lines are buried underground, so we're kind of lucky with that. Some of them are, at least. Oh, thanks, Cindy. I'm like I can't see. Let me try to see. While y'all are signing on, I'll keep my glasses on. Oh, Washington. Yeah, my uncle lives in Washington. We're gonna go visit one day soon. So, everybody, how are y'all doing? Hope you've had a great week. Yeah, it's another week down. I never believed my nanny when she said, don't get older. It goes by fast. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I can't stop getting older. But she was right about the going fast. These weeks just fly by. All right, so there we go. Woo! I'll come back to reading all your messages in a little bit. So, hi everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live Sunday here at the Beehive. I hope everyone's doing great. Just moving on with our weekend. I hope everybody had a beautiful Easter weekend. We had a great time. So when you get to hang out with family, that's always the best to me. So yeah, so I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter and did whatever you wanted to do. And if you didn't have anything to do, I hope you sewed or touched buttons on your machine or something. So today is number 38. Wow. Can you believe it's almost been a year? In June, July, it'll be a year. And we have had 38 videos, one every week, except for skipping a couple weeks, for holidays or something like that, which probably really ended up being like 3, I think. So we are on number 38, constantly trying to come up with new ideas for you guys. So if you have any ideas, post them and I'll think about it and I'll figure out ways to work it out. And so last time we went over embroidery functions, which is really great to learn on your machine because, even though we work on the baby locks here, maybe you don't have a baby lock and maybe you learned a little bit of something about your machine just by me saying, hey, this button does this, and maybe your machine has it and you can use it in the same way. So yeah, so I hope y'all like that video. I really like teaching like that. I know I do a lot of like little projects and stuff, but to me, how you're going to learn your machine is by doing things. But I also like to take time to stop and push the buttons, kind of like smell the roses, but we stop to push the buttons because we need to learn our machines. And like I say all the time, we have paid lots of money for these machines. We should be using them. And, although COVID has been terrible, it's a great time during this time that we've been able to do that. So I'm glad. I'm so happy that you guys have joined me. We're almost to 2,000 members. So as soon as we hit 2,000 members, we are going to do a big giveaway. I actually don't have any idea of what we're going to do as a giveaway, but I'm going to think about it because 2,000 members is quite a lot. That's y'all went above and beyond my idea of this whole little group. So I really appreciate you all. Now, if you're new to the group, welcome. Thank you so much for joining our little group. We have a lot of fun here. We're learning, and and at the beginning of each video, I always have an allergy, something going on. So excuse that. But if you're new, thank you so much for joining the group. We love to learn here. We love to support each other. And if you have any questions, or if you just want to post up what you're making, we absolutely love to see that. I'd love to see more of that. Whatever you're working on, just go ahead and post. Just because it's always nice to be around peers who do the same thing. Yeah, Ernestine, that was cool, wasn't it? I can kind of see what you wrote. I can pick out words, hot dog pillow. So I have been posting videos that I do at the shop. I work at a little quilt shop here in town, and I've been posting videos, and y'all seem to like those, and I'll keep posting those. I do those every Friday, and I just bring them over to this group because I think there's a lot of great information that we give over there that would help your sewing too. And last week we did French seams, but we made a hot dog style pillow. It does not look like a hot dog. It's just the way you make it. And they're so fast, quick, easy, and cute as a button. Thanks, Teresa. Thank you. It's called filters on Zoom. No, I do have makeup on, but it's filters that help that out. If you saw me in person, you'd be like, that girl is blotchy. I have like red blotchy. I got this skin thing so yeah. Filters, the miracle of the internet. So I post those. Now, I do want to quickly go over, and I know I do this a lot, but since we've been getting so many new members, just quickly go over how to pull up the videos again. And I'm just going to do this super fast. And then I'm going to tell you guys about an announcement we've got. And I think you'll enjoy it. So let me jump over to, oh no, it's this button. Still learning this. To our Facebook page right here. That's not the Facebook page, but we'll go to boop, there it is. All right, so this is Forever BB Louise, the Sewing at the Beehive group. And obviously you know that because you're here right now, right? So let me put my glasses on for this one. So you can see on the screen now, if you're looking up our videos on a computer, this is how you're going to find them. Okay, so you're going to be on the page, you're going to scroll down just a hair, and what you'll find is you'll see down here this little group, or this little box right here that says popular topics and post. And what I want you to select in this little grouping right here is Sunday Night Live. So if you click on that, it's going to bring you to a page where I put the videos when I'm done recording them. So you can scroll down, you can see that I posted this is one from the shop, as you can tell by the background there. But if you start scrolling down, you'll start to see the classes that we do here, and they're always labeled by numbers. So number 37 was embroidery functions, and you can just scroll down and go through all of them. Now, I always have I think this is hysterical to me when I go through this. I have the funniest faces at the beginning. So look, my hair was not looking great that day, but so I like to just go back to see my facial expressions because I think I'm hysterical. So that's how you would find it on a computer. Now, let me see. Let's go up here. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but there we go. So if you're doing it on an iPhone, and I'm not going to put this on camera here, I'm just going to pull it up. So we'll go to, you'll pull up on your phone. I know this is not going to be the easiest to read, but you'll pull this up on your phone and you'll go to your groups and you'll find Forever BB Louise. Now, if you see right here, I'm going to try to hold it off just kind of at an angle a bit so you can, maybe if we do it that way, that's better. What you'll notice is you have these little scroll tab right here. Let's get a little closer. So you'll see this little area right here. And it may say photos, announcements, maybe events, files. And I'll show you what's in the files here in a minute. But if you scroll all the way over, you'll finally see a word that says topics. So we're going to tap on topics, and then right up at the top, you'll see Sunday Night Live. Tap on that, and it's going to be the same thing. Now you can go all the way back through to our very first video. Yeah, they're all numbered, but where they're at in that swipe up group of videos, they may be a little out of order because I didn't have a private group at the very beginning, so I had to bring videos over from the, yeah. You know how that goes. Okay, so let me get your questions back up. Oh, I keep pushing the wrong button. There we go. Just so I know that just in case you have questions. Okay, there we go. So that's basically in a nutshell how you find our videos. Now, let me show you the files real quick because that's where, although it needs to be updated, and this is going to be the same on your phone. So I'm already looking at that one. Okay, there we go. So if you're on the group and you're looking here where it says about, discussion, announcements, kind of that same area, what you're going to do is select files. And right down in here are some things that I've put in here for you. So there may be some directions on some projects that we have made. The icon chart for IQ Designer, it'll work kind of with My Design Center. So if you have My Design Center, and then also you have one that says Facebook Live video list. So if you click on that, it'll probably bring you right here. Just click on this area right here, and mine's going to download to here to my computer. So I'm just going to open mine. And then what you'll notice is I have them all listed for you, except for anything that's extra. And I just need to add on number 37 and today's number 38. But if you're looking for, let's say, I want to learn how to do the Dream Big panel because that's very popular. What we're going to do is just scroll through here and go, okay, video number 4 is Quilting Panels Dream Big Panel with IQ Designer. And now you can go look for video number 4. So I hope that helps. It's the easiest way for me to do it for you guys and kind of keep it all together. Okay. All right, great. Okay, so our announcement. You know who one of my favorite people is. It's Xandra Shaw, right? Well, next Sunday, she is giving away something here on the Beehive. Yay! I don't know how many of you have Surgers, but if you do, she and Lori Hernandez have made a whole new way of learning your Surgers. So much fun and so easy. And it's called the Surge Fun Club. So let me bring you over to there real quick. And that way you can see what I'm talking about here. Do I go here? Yes. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, so if you are in the Hoop Fun Club, you know that Zandra has an amazing club that you can join. It is monthly, and you can learn so much. You get embroidery designs, you get videos, you get techniques, you get projects, you get all kind of cool stuff. Um, but the Serge Fun Club is made for sergers and sewers alike. So here is the Serge Fun Club, and that is Miss Lori Hernandez, who will be teaching the classes. She's amazing. She's with Lori's Inspiration Collaboration, so you need to join her Facebook group and spark your creativity with our Serge Fun Club. So she's going to be doing monthly, I believe it's monthly, classes. And guess what? Zandra and Lori are giving away a year membership here next week. How exciting! Yay! I'm so excited. So that'll be next week. Now let's talk about how that's going to work. Let me jump back to me. So on Wednesday, no, you know what? I think I'll do it on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'm going to make a special post and I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to put your answer. And it really, like what was it last time? I can't remember when we did this last time. Like, what is your favorite thing to sew or something like that? And in that post, you're going to put your answer, and that answer will get you entered into the drawing for the year membership of the Serge Fun Club. How exciting! So and I'll make sure that it's pinned to the top so you can, everybody can join in on the fun. Yay! How exciting. So please give us a big shout out. Tell everyone, or go ahead and in here because Zandra likes to watch these. Make sure you thank Zandra, thank Lori for this amazing opportunity to win some prizes. And maybe I'll do a prize or two next week as well. So go ahead and enter your name in and we'll see. Maybe we'll have just a good prize Sunday next week. So yay, I'm so excited. So Zandra, if you're listening, thank you. Lori, if you're listening, thank you so much. You guys are an inspiration and we just love you here over at the Beehive. So yay. Okay, now that my big announcement's out of the way, let's talk about Bye Donkey, Zandra, yes. Okay, let's talk about what we're gonna make today. Now this may seem a little small, but it's actually quite cute. And I was really excited when I made it. In my head, it didn't come out as cute in my head as it did when I stitched it out. And I was like, oh, this is so cute. But you can make yours any size. But we're going to make an In the Hoop needle minder today using IQ Designer / if you have My Design Center. Now, if you don't have those, don't worry about it. Hang out with us because you can always learn something. Let's see. Should we enter even if we don't have a serger? I'm giving away stuff on that day too. So why not? Why not? Let's see what happens. And if you don't have a serger and you win it, then you just go get you a serger and then you can, Baby Lock sergers are amazing. So, okay, let's take a look. You ready? And it is tiny, but it's cute as a button. So when I say needle minder, in my head, it means something probably a little different than maybe you're thinking like a little needle book that you put your hand needles in. No, I loved I have a hard time of keeping up of a needle when I take it out of my machine. So I designed this little guy in the hoop. So it's a little flower. And what I've got is you can decide on what needles you use the most of. Hey, Hope Yo, hey, baby, how are you? Your ankles look great. Yes, they always look great. My elbows are looking fabulous today. Okay, so I've got Universal 80. I've got a spot for hand needles. I got a spot for my embroidery 75 needles. I've got a spot for my embroidery needles or embroidery 90 needles and my metallic needles. And in the middle is for my regular pins. So when I need to remove a needle, but I'm not done using it, I can just place it in here And that way I'm not putting it back in the package, or I'm not just laying it down or taping it to my machine and then forgetting what needle it is. So how cute is that? Yay! I think it's so cute. So we're going to make one today. And today I am working on the Solaris. Just remember, you can do this on the Destiny, the Altair, the Meridian, the Solaris 1 and the Solaris 2, and the Like Brother machines. So let's get started. Okay, so now I get to put my glasses on so I can see what in the world's going on. Oh, hey, okay. All right, so I'm going to switch the camera over. Let me get it kind of in position before. Oh, wait, let's talk about what we need. Because, you know, details, right? Okay. A little earlier, I did do a post about what you would need for this project. And here we go. So I told you that you are going to need your 5x7 hoop. You will also need some no-show mesh type of stabilizer. And when I do in the hoop projects, I do not like to use tearaway because it makes it crispy and crunchy, and I don't like that. So a lot of times, unless it's absolutely necessary, the most of the time I use is like a poly mesh or a no-show type of mesh, and that's just a really lightweight cutaway. The next thing I need is about a 6-inch, depending on how big you're going to make it. Okay, so you know, this one came out about 4 inches, so I might make it a little bit bigger this time. But you'll need about a 6-inch square of background fabric. I love tone on tones, so I've got this cute little polka dot, and it is fused to a piece of fusible fleece. Now, if you don't have fusible fleece, don't worry about it. Just get you a piece of batting and put it on the back of this. Now, it is to the wrong side. Then what I have is 2 back pieces, and they are roughly 6 by 9. Okay, and so I do have them large for a reason. But what I did was I took and folded them in half, wrong sides together, and pressed. So I now have about 6 by what, 5.5-ish now. And so I have a nice clean fold on the top of each of these 2 pieces. And I need thread. That's all I need today. Not a whole lot. Really cool. So let me get this into position. I have to bring it out of position. If not, I'll knock it with my chair. And let's go over to the camera. You can use, Julie, you can use anything you want. You know what? This is your baby. Girl, you make it yours. Let me turn my circle light off. There we go. So we can see a little bit better. All right. Okay, perfect. Remember, no matter which machine you have, if you have IQ Designer or My Design Center, you will be able to do this. I will tell you where it's different and what to push. Okay, here we go. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go into IQ Designer. So I'm going to tap that on my screen and maybe get this a little more even for you. There we go. That looks better. Okay. And we're going to work with our built-in shapes. So the first key that I'm going to select, you're going to see, is this circle square right here inside of IQ Designer. This is your shapes key. So if I tap that, there we go. I have a ton of shapes that I can play with. And what I decided to play with today was this little flower right here. So I'm going to tap on her. There we go, and push OK. That was wrong. Don't hit next. There we go. So I've got my little flower on screen. So I want to give it a size at this point. I want to go ahead and get my size established. And I'm going to, I think this one I'm going to make a little bit bigger than the one I made earlier. And let's go over and show you that again. There she is. How cute is that? And so to do that, now I have accidentally clicked off of mine. So how do we get that back up? Well, what you're going to do is if you have a little box right here or right in this area on your machine that has a square box with dotted lines and it's highlighted blue, if it's not, tap it. You can always just draw a box around your design and it will be selected and the size will show up. So I'm going to select size and I'm going to use the proportional size button down to go to about, like I said, I'm going to do a little bit bigger. So I think about close to 4.5. You can put it wherever you want. So mine is roughly about 4.51 by 4.46. Perfect. Now, one thing I didn't mention to do, and which I should have read my notes, but that would make everything too easy, is I'm going to turn on a couple things in the settings first. So I'm going to go up here to my settings key. So your settings is right here. It's that little piece of paper, and I'm going to tap on it. And generally, it's going to bring you right to this first page right here that has your frame size and your grid. I'm going to first check my frame size here, and I'm going to go and either you can scroll through or however you do it on your machine, and you're going to find the 5x7. So I'm just going to turn that frame on. And that frame is not going to stitch out. It's just going to give me a general area of where my design is. The next thing I'm going to do is turn on my grid. So I'm going to select my little grid section right here. And I like to turn on the 1-inch grid. It's really up to you which grid you turn on. If you like to use the 3/8 or the 1-inch. I just personally like the 1-inch. And oops, I'm going to turn my speed was really low for a project that I did. So I'm going to turn my speed back up. So you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. Now you can see that I have, you can kind of see my 5x7 frame in the background. It's just a rectangle. And you can also see that I have a grid on, and you can see my flower motif right there. And I'm happy with that. So I did about 4.5-ish. What I want to do first is turn that stitch into turn that line, that flower, into a stitch. So we're going to go to our line properties, which is the grouping of 4 or 5 icons right up here at the top. And I'm going to select this button right here, which is the running stitch. I'm going to select a blue color and then OK. After I'm done with that, what I need to do is turn on my bucket that is in the line properties, because that's going to make it much easier to turn that line into a stitch line. So I'm going to tap on the bucket, make sure it's highlighted blue, or I think in the Destiny it may be a gold color that it highlights. And I'm going to tap directly onto the flower. And what I've just done is turned that line into a stitch. The next thing I want to do, and I say this all the time, is save and save often. So we're going to go down here to memory and tap on the memory. Now yours may have, it may not say memory. It may be a pocket that looks similar to this, but the arrow is going inside. That is your memory. So click on that and then click on the sewing machine. So again, if you don't have the word memory, yours is probably somewhere down here at the bottom. You are going to have a pocket that looks similar to this with an arrow going inwards. And then save it to your machine. Now I'm going to select next. And I'm not going to change anything here. This is the screen where you can really get in and edit things about the stitch line and all that. We don't need to do that. Our stitch line comes out fine. So I'm going to hit set and OK. Now, if you have preview at the bottom, select the preview, and then you should see OK, select OK, then you will hit set OK. So again, if you see preview right down here, you're going to hit preview OK, and then set OK. But for the Solaris, we have set and OK. And now we're in the embroidery edit screen. So what we have designed now is just the line, or basically the stitch line that's going to tack our fabric down to our stabilizer. Yay. Now what we want to do is select add. And then we're going to find on our screen, we're going to find IQ Designer. It may be somewhere else, but mine's down here. So select that. And we are back inside of IQ Designer. The next thing I want to do is recall that same flower that I saved. So how I'm going to do that is I am going to come up here to my pocket. Focus is way off. Okay, well, let's just try that again. That's not focus, that's light. That's as focused as it's going. Yeah, that's probably it. Maybe if I turn the light down a little bit, maybe that'll make it a little easier for y'all to see. There we go. Okay, there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come up to this pocket that has an arrow going outwards. So now our pocket's going out, or we have an arrow that's going outwards. This is where we're going to find the design that we just saved. So go ahead and select it. And again, yours may be at the bottom. And the very first one that's the top left is the last one that you made. So that's the one that I'm going to select. And then I'll select OK. The next thing that I want to do is I have created my shape. But if you kind of see, and I have to, let me do the lighting a little bit, but you see I have a little circle in the center here, right? So I want to create that little circle next. There we go. So I'm then going to come right here back to our shapes key, and I'm going to select a circle. And then OK. Now, what you'll notice on your screen is that your circle is way bigger than your flower. So we're going to go to the size key, and we're going to shrink it down proportionally. And it's about 2 inches is where I want to get it. So right now, as I'm holding that button down, it's at 2.86. I want it to go down a little more. Maybe not that far. So I've got it about 2 inches. Now let me zoom in a little bit. And you can't really see, let me click off. So you can see both of my parts now. So my circle it does end up in the center, but if it doesn't, before you touch the screen or anything, you can always go back to size and use your move keys to move it around wherever you want. But it should end up completely in the circle. Again, if it doesn't, just go to the size key and then go to your move keys and you can move things around. For some reason that happened to me earlier. I'm not quite sure why, but yeah, details, right? Okay. So now I have my flower and I have the center section here. So the reason why I had my grid on was to make sure that my circle would be completely centered. So if I wanted to, I could go back up to my settings, and if you want to, you can leave it on, but I actually prefer mine off. So I'm going to turn it off by, all you do is go to grid and you'll see a blank piece of paper, and then there you go. And now you can see your design much better. Make sure we can get you in a good view there. My camera's a little crooked today. I don't know why. She's just a little crooked. And we'll do one more scan. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I'm looking at my screen and it does, my design looks fuzzy, but you'll get the idea. Okay. Now, if I zoom back out, you'll be able to see the gray box behind it. That's just my 5x7 hoop. Just making sure that I fit in my 5x7 hoop. You see my flower and now the circle in the center. The next thing that I want to do is I want to turn those two lines into a regular stitch line. So I'm going to come up here to my line properties. I'm going to select a running stitch. And I'm going to, this next one, I'm going to choose a dark purple color. And I'm doing dark color so you can see. If I were to turn it into a yellow, you wouldn't be able to see on my screen. I'm going to make sure I select the bucket, and I'm going to tap both the lines, so the circle and the flower. So that way they'll stitch out together. It won't be two separate colors. Now here's the fun part. Now what we're going to do is take and put our little fills in. So we have a section right under our line properties. This is your fill properties, your FILL. I know I talk funny. So your fill properties are right here. And I'm going to go to this little piece of paper. Now, depending on which machine you have, you are going to be able to put in any fill that you want. You can do a stipple, or we can do one of the decorative fills. So let's go here. If you tap on the little bubbles right there, you'll get this little box that pops up, and you're going to hit select, and then go ahead and find a fill that you want. Let's start with the center piece, the center circle. So for my last one, I chose this little cute basket weave cross hatching. But I think I'm going to do something a little different for the next one because I know my fabric has bees on it. So I want to do this little honeycomb for the center. So I'm going to tap on it and say, okay. And I'm going to give it a color other than red just because I don't like the color red. I said it. I admit it. So it doesn't matter what color you pick. So I'll pick like an orange so you can see it and say, okay. And now all I have to do is tap on my bucket and tap in the center of the circle, and you'll see the design appear. Now it's probably not going to be the size you want, but that's okay. We're going to fix that. Now we want to put fills around inside of the flower petals. So we're going to go back to the little piece of paper. I'm going to go back to my select, and I'm just going to find something fun. I'll just do a fun little florally whatever, whatnot on it. Let's see. I really like the wavy motion in this one right here. So I'm going to pick that one and say okay. And I'm going to pick a separate color because I want them to stitch out as two different colors. So I'll do a blue. And remember, it doesn't matter what color you pick because you're able to put on any color of thread in your machine that you want to. So I'm going to make sure my bucket is still selected. It is. And I'm going to tap inside of the flower petals, and then there we go. Ta-da! She's all done. So the next thing I want to do at this point is select next. And since I'm on the Solaris will show you in real time what everything looks like. If you're on an Altair or a Meridian or a Destiny, we have to do one more step, and that's okay. So what you're going to do is what you're seeing isn't what you have to leave it at. So if you look kind of close at my honeycombs, do you see how big they are? Well, I'm cool with the way that this outer looks. I like that size of that stitching. So I'm going to leave that, but the inside is way too big. I want it to look really fun and like a honeycomb. So I'm going to use my arrows over here, and I'm going to arrow over until it shows me my honeycombs, or the box is around the center there. And what you'll see is you have, and yours may be down here, you have a box that has some circles and some arrows going side to side and top to bottom, and it says 100%. So go ahead and tap on that if you want to, and I'm going to shrink my size down to 50% and say okay. And to me, that looks much better. Now, if you are an Altair, Meridian, or a Destiny, you're not going to see any changes immediately. What you have to do, and this is important, what you have to do is select the button that says Preview down here at the bottom. Now, this is not for the Solaris owners. This is just for the others. So you select Preview OK, but do not hit Set until you are happy. So once you hit Preview OK, it's going to show you your design that looks similar to mine. It's going to show it in stitch out form. And if you're happy with the changes you've made, then you can hit Set and OK. But if you are not, you have to hit Return. And that way it keeps you from stitching out something you don't like. So don't hit Preview OK, Set OK. Hit Preview OK, stop and take a look, and if you're happy, hit Set OK. If you're not happy, hit the Return button and go change whatever you want to change. So I'm going to call myself Happy, and I'm going to hit Set OK. And there she is. How cute! Now I'm going to zoom in for a minute so we can see what's happening on the screen bigger. This is where I want to add my words. So I decided on what needles I use the most. I use a Universal 80. I use hand needles. I use embroidery 75 and embroidery 90 needles and metallic needles all the time. Those are like my favorite needles. Now, if you use top stitch or ballpoint or whatever, this is where you're going to make it yours. So at this point, this is where we need to add the words. And this point might take a few minutes. So this project's going to take a little while. So y'all just hang on. But we're going to get our words in because we're going to array them a little bit. And I'll show you what that means here in just a minute. So let's go ahead and select the word add. And we're going to go to our little fonts here. Now, please note, you do have micro fonts generally in here. And let me double check on the Meridian to see if you have micro fonts. I think you do. So let's take a look. Maybe you don't. Is that a micro font? Nope. Okay, so you do not have micro fonts. And micro fonts are the really teeny tiny ones. So on the Solaris, you have micro fonts. I did not like how those came out, so I didn't use those. I just came in here and picked one of the fonts that I love the best, and it's this number 10 here. And it kind of comes in, it makes it look kind of cursive. So let me show you here. Let's lighten you up here. Well, not that much. Okay, so you can see it says EMB, and that's for embroidery 75. But you see how it's kind of cursive? I just think it looks really cute. So it's up to you on which one you decide. So I'm going to, again, use that number 10 font group. And there we go. Now, if you have not used fonts before, the first thing that we're going to do is super important. You don't want to start typing out a word. So if you started typing out a word, I want you to delete it using the delete key. Because when we bring a letter in, it comes in as the largest size. And we want to make it the smallest size. So the first one I'll use is, we'll do the metallic, since I used it as a full word. So we're going to select the letter M. Now see how big it comes in? What I need to do is stop right there, don't spell out the rest of the word, and come down here where it says LMS. So I'm going to tap this until it is it's highlighted on the S, and you can see how tiny that gets. That's exactly what I want. And then I'm going to either spell out the rest of the word or put whatever I want there. So I'm going to go into the lowercase and go E T A L L I C. There we go. I think that's right. Yes, there we go. Now, if I had messed up a letter, I can go back through with your little arrows here and select the letter and change it if I want to. But I'm pretty happy with that. A little smudge right there. How annoying and embarrassing. Okay, there we go. So I've got that word metallic. The next thing I'm going to do, because I am looking at this and I kind of see everything's a little rounded. So if I brought this straight up, it's just going to be a little bit too straight. So what I did was I kind of gave it an arch for mine. And let me show you how you do that. So when you're done typing out the word, you're going to go to the word array. So we're going to tap on that. And this is where we can kind of shape our words. And I'm going to put this one up here. So I'm following the circle. So I want my array to be kind of curved down. So I'm going to select this ABC that kind of on a curve where it's kind of curving down. Rather than curving up, smiling, we're going to make it frown. Okay, so it puts it on this line. Now you're going to see the line the entire time. Let's darken that up a little bit for you. You're going to see that line the entire time. It will not stitch out, I promise. So I'm going to say, okay, that looks good, but let me zoom in just in case. Not far enough for me to look. There we go. There we go. So now I can see it much better. And you can vaguely see my circle in the background, and it's kind of going along that curve. Hey, Donna, from your hospital bed. Oh, my goodness. Well, I hope you get to feel better soon. Yeah, get to feeling better, girl. Okay, so if I'm happy with that, then all I'm going to do is select Set, and I'm going to come up here to Edit, and I'm going to go to my Move key. But first, I'm going to, just for, make everything easier, zoom in a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to come up to my Move key, and I'm going to take and move her straight up. And like I said, that dark line will not stitch out, I promise. So I'm going to put it wherever is visually pleasing to me. Now, what you want to be careful of is the outside lines, because we're going to be making this kind of like, it's an in the hoop project. We don't want the letters to be so close to the edge when we turn it inside out that the letters are caught in there. So I've got it pretty centered, and that looks about good to me. About right there is fine. I could move it far up if you wanted to. Just again, be very mindful of that outside line. And I'll just kind of move it up here. That looks good to me. So I'm then going to select OK. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the rest of the words. But at this point, everything's going to be arrayed with a smile, not a frown. So bear with me. We're going to be using the rotate key and all that next. Okay, so let's add our next word. And again, I'm just going to use the same ones that I use. So I'm going to go to Add. I'm going to go to my fonts. I'm going to use the font that I want. And the next word, the next one I use a lot is a universal 80. But universal 80 would be a really long term for me to put in for this small little thing. So what I decided to do was just type in U, and then remember how big it is. I need to make it small first. And then I went to my lowercase and did NI. So like uni. So I know that means universe. I'm going to select the space bar. What you don't want to select is the spacing. You should have something that looks similar to this and tap that. And then I can go to my numbers and tap 80. Perfect. So if I zoom in, there we go. I can see much better, and I'm going to hit set. Oh, but I forgot to move it, or I'm sorry, I forgot to array it, to turn it, to kind of give it a curve. That's okay. If you forget to do it in that screen, what you're going to do is go to edit in your embroidery screen, and you're going to select the T here. This is your text attributes where you can change your text here. So let's zoom in so we can see much better. There we go. And I'm going to go down to array. And like I said, this time, if I'm going to, let's say, move the uni right here, the universal right here, then what I want to do is kind of think about how it's going to go. So my metallic's going to follow this way, but I need my uni to follow this way. So I'm going to make it a smile. But notice what it does when it makes it a smile. It spreads it really far apart. So what do we do with that? Well, let me show you. So push OK. And now we're going to select spacing. And we're going to use our spacing key right here to bring all those letters back together. And if you're used to the one with the arrows coming in, you can just press and hold until it stops. And let's see what it looks like. Much better. All right, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to hit set. And then I can go back to my edit key, and we're going to go under the rotate key now. I do have move buttons in my rotate. So what I'm going to do is just kind of move it down to get it a little over here. Now, if I didn't rotate it, you would see how it looks, right? It doesn't look really nice and conform. So I'm going to use my 10 degrees to turn it, to get it kind of in line, or, going along with the circle. And then I can kind of adjust it and move it where I want it to go. Let's go down a little bit. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to go put my next 3 in. So just walk along with me. Select your next word. I think I'll do the hand for hand needles. I'm going to select add. I'm going to go to my fonts, number 10, it's right here. And I'm going to start with an H. I'm going to make sure that I make it the small size, and then I can go to A, N, D. I'm going to select my array. I think I'm going to zoom in first so I can see what I'm doing here. Much better. I'm going to go to my array, and I'm going to figure out where I'm going to go next. Let's say I wanted to go right here. I still have to make it the smile, not the frown, because I'm going to be curving around this way. So I'm going to make it smile. And when it makes it smile, it spreads it out. Why? I'm not really sure, but that's okay. I have a spacing key. So I'm going to select spacing. I'm going to use that little A, B, C with the arrows going in. Just press and hold until you get it where you want it. And there it is. Oh, that's perfect. So I'm going to select OK and then set. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm now going to go back to my edit. I'm going to go to rotate, and I want it over here. So I could really kind of rotate 90 degrees and start moving it over and then adjust it from there. So let's kind of get it there. See how it's really straight? I'm going to use my 10 degrees to kind of adjust it to where I want it. That's too much. Now, if it's too much, you can use your 1 degrees and just tap it. And let's move it where I think it's going to be nice and pretty. Yes. Yes, absolutely, Ernestine. You can do all this on the Altair. Absolutely. So I'm going to scroll over, smooth it over, and that looks about aesthetically right. Now, I want to put my embroidery ones on there. I probably should have left them close together, but who cares? I'm going to put embroidery 75 and embroidery 90 there. I'm going to select add, font, select my font, and we'll do the embroidery 75 first. So I'm going to grab my E, and that's another one that I abbreviated. I just put EMB. I'm going to do my E. I'm going to make it small, ABC, or I'm sorry, my lowercase, excuse me, EMB. I'm going to hit the space bar. I'm going to come up to my numbers and do 75. I'm going to then go and zoom in so I can see it better. I love the zoom key. I can really, really zoom in. I'm going to go array. And if I want to move it down here, I've got to make it smile, not frown. So we're going to smile it. It's going to spread it out just because it does. And I'm going to go to spacing and bring it all the way in. Perfect. And that's gorgeous. I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to go set. Just for me, I'm going to zoom in because I am half blind. I'm going to go to edit and rotate. And I think I'm just going to pull her down first and bring her over and then start rotating. I'm going to use my 10-degree rotations. Maybe that one's a little too much. And then move it. Whoa. She moved way too fast for me. Let me see if I want to maybe make her smile a little bit more. Yeah, that looks good. All right, guess what? We're on the last one, guys. I hope you're keeping up. I know I'm going fast. Tell me to slow down if you need me to. Yes, always watch the replays. You can always rewatch at your leisure. Okay, so now we've got one more to put in there. So let's hit OK to get out of that. And we're going to select Add, Font, pick your font. And now we are going to do the EMB, or what I'm going to do is the embroidery 90, the one that I wanted. So I'm going to do E. I'm going to make sure that it's small. I'm going to go my lowercase, MB, and I cannot wait to see what y'all's looks like. No, metallic. I'm not going to, and that's Pat. That's a great question. Pat asked, "Am I going to rotate it?" You can if you want to. I'm fine with it being out because I'll kind of consider that like my top one. You know what I mean? Like when I hold it, I know I have to look at things. My brain is so weird. But yes, if you want to flip these in and out, you can totally. But I'll probably just leave it. And that'll be like the top of my, I would consider that the top of my pincushion. So, but that's a good point. So I'm going to hit my space. Oh, let's zoom in so Anna can see better. There we go. There we go. Going to hit my space bar and then numbers. And I'm going to do my 90 now. And set. Oh, no, I shouldn't have set, right? Because I need to arch it. I need to do my arraying. I need to make it smile. So I'm going to, if you ever do that, like we did a moment ago, let's go back through. If you accidentally just zoom yourself away, just go to edit You're going to use your text attributes right here. And now you're back on that screen. So I'm going to select my array. I'm going to make her smile. And I'm going to say, okay, but let's zoom in. And we need to bring those letters together. So we're going to go to spacing and use that key, the spacing key, to bring everything back together again. Make them a family, and ta-da. Now, Pat, you got me wanting to do that. So you know what? I might go do that. I might just do that. Okay. So let's hit set and let's rotate this one because I want her to go over here. And now I can just bring her over and then start really playing with her rotation by using the 10 degrees. I'm going to move her up a little bit and she's all kind of wonky. So I need her to come just a little bit more over. And you know, these side keys really are great. These keys move at angles. They move up at angles and down at angles. So when you're working on something like this, try these little keys right here to move. It really does help get things straight. And that's actually looking pretty good. I think I need her to go, nope, that was the wrong way. Over a little bit, yeah. So let's do that. Yes, if you save, does it save everything? Yes, ma'am, it does. Okay, so right here, what Pat asked me was a great question. She said, hey, do you want your metallic to go, you know, facing the same way as everything else? And generally I would say no, because, you know, I have a way I see things. But if you wanted to, what you're going to do, let's say you want to change something, you want to move it around and you're not on that. Your red box is all, if you look really close at your screen right now, you're going to see red boxes around something. That's the design that you're on right now. That's where you can edit. However, if I want to change that, so let's tap on the metallic. I can either tap on it to select it, or I can use my selection keys down here. And I can select until it goes to where I want. So let's just change that. Let's flip it. Why not? So I'm going to go to rotate, and I'm just going to rotate it around. And it's going to kind of like be like everything else. So I'm going to move it closer down. I'm just visually looking at everything right now. So there, absolutely. So I'll stitch it out. I'm going to go with Pat's way to doing it. I like that. That looks cool. But the only thing is, if you notice, it's still frowning at me, right? So what I will have to do is change the array of it. So I flipped it upside down, and I'm now going to go to my T for text. And let's go back to the array, and let's make it smile. Now, of course, it's going to stretch it out. So I need to go to my spacing. And this is I'm really glad you brought this up, because this is a great way to show you guys that you can always go back and edit whatever you want. Okay, now let's take a look at it. I think I'm going to move her up just a little bit. So I'll go to my move key. There we go. That looks awesome. Much better, if I do say so myself, Pat. thanks for making me do it differently. I like it. All right, perfect. Now we've got that all set. The one thing that I do want you to remember, you see all these little black lines around, they will not stitch out. So don't let those get to you. All right, so how we make this is basically, thanks, Pat. How we are going to make this is basically, let's take a look at the back, is we're going to make it an envelope back. So I know that the lighting is terrible on this, but when we get, I get on better lighting, I'll show you. So what I need to do is now make one more flower on the outside, meaning I need to bring in a flower to tack the back pieces to the front pieces. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to add, and select IQ Designer, and we're going to pull up the flower design. So there it is. I'm going to pull up that same flower design and say OK. Now, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the line properties, the little piece of paper, and instead of a running stitch, we're going to do a triple stitch, and that's going to secure everything together. So let's select the triple stitch, and you can select any color from here. I'll do a gray, and I'm going to make sure my bucket is on, and I'm going to tap it. There we go. That's it. So I'm then going to select next, set, and if you have a different machine, it's going to be preview OK, set OK. Ours is going to be set OK. And you're not going to even see it, but it's definitely on top. So you can see I have all of these guys now. Now, these are all going to stitch out separately. So really, just so you know, it's going to do that. But I'm trying to remember if there's a way I can probably, I wonder if I can group those. Let's see, group. Do I just tap? Okay, yeah. Okay, so if I want, let's go back to the colors here. Now, if I want these, all the words to stitch together, and I believe this is the way to do it. I should have tried it out first, but we'll be all right. If I want all the words to stitch out all at one time, rather than it stitch, metallic, stop, hand, I have to push the button again, embroidery 75, I have to push the button again. What we're going to do is you are going to come to your button that looks similar to this. This is your grouping icon, and let me make sure, let me see what it looks like on the other machine so we can, I have to put a couple things on there to make it show up. Or it will look like this right here. If you, for some reason, you don't have one of these, which I'm pretty sure almost everybody does, you can look at this key right here. So we're going to tap on that. And what you're going to do, let's zoom in so we can see this really good when I do it. What you're going to do is make sure that this little guy with the pink boxes is selected. And I'm going to tap on the words only with my finger. So I'm going to select metallic. Oops. And do you see what happened? So let me go back. Let's see. Let's go back. I don't want to select everything together. I want to just select, okay, maybe I need to ungroup. All right, hold on. Let me figure this out 1 second. You guys, let's try. So I thought I was able to, maybe if I use this. I think you have to be very careful to touch just the words, and maybe if I zoom out, it'll be better. It does work, but you know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen on camera, which is really good because you can see how I fix it. All right. There we go. I don't know if you can see, but I zoomed out and I'm able to just touch the words now. So vaguely, you can't see it on screen, but I can see on my screen, I now have a pink box around the word metallic. I'm then going to go touch the hand. Nope, not going to let me. Okay. Breathe, Anna, and let's try it again. Metallic. Embroidery. No. So it might just be a little bit of working with it. Okay, so that one is now embroidery. Okay. I'm going to get this. Otherwise, I'm going to skip it. So, because I want it to work, but it doesn't look like it really wants to work. for me. Oh, I got that one. I think it's tapping it in the right place. Oh, I got that one. I got that one. Now, the one I'm having a problem with, can I use the select arrows? I think you can. That's a good idea. Aha. Thanks, Diane. All right, so I use the select arrows, and what you'll be able to visually see is a little bitty box around your word. That didn't do it for me. Nope, that's still not doing it. Okay, I might have to zoom in and try to just touch on the letter. No. I'm going to get it. It kills me. Oh, there we go. All right, so what I think, oh, I got it, guys. Here, let's try this again. I'm going to get them all in. All right, so I'm, like Diane suggested, is I'm using the select keys, and I can see when a little red box of marching ants goes around my words, and I think it's really just hitting it in the right spot. Nope. Or it's just not liking the last word I picked. Oh, there we go. I got it. I got it, guys. There we go. Okay. So and then set to the words. There you go. Woo! I'm glad y'all are here to help me out. Okay, there we go. Okay. Julie said she zoomed in and carefully touched the letters. Okay. All right, so I got it. Okay, with a stylus. That's a good one. Okay, so I've got those now grouped, or I've got those highlighted. And you can see I have little bitty pink boxes. Sorry that took so long, but I was bound and determined to get it. So I'm going to select OK, and I have to select one other thing before I do anything else. What you'll notice is once I have things selected, I'm going to have a box pop up that has a square and a circle, and then a red box on the outside. And I need to tap that. And what that does is that groups those parts, those 5 parts together. So now they should stitch out all at one time versus stitching out later, or, stopping and then stitching out. So guess what? We are now ready to take it over to embroidery. And now what I'm going to do is swing you over here a little bit. There we go. And, oh, that's a terrible lighting. Let's get some good lighting on that. Okay. There we go. All right, so now I have, Marie, I'll have to jump on my machine and let you see. Or it's going to be in the same area, but I'll move, when this is stitching out, I'll move over to the meridian and show you. Okay, so I've got my no-show mesh already hooped, and what I'm going to do with my piece is just center it in there. You don't have, it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, our design is 4.5. I've got a 6-inch piece, so I've got plenty of stuff happening. The next thing is if you have embroidery tape of some type, you may want to take a piece to the top to hold it down and to the bottom to hold it down. And the first stitch is basically just going to be a tack down stitch. It's just going to tack the fabric to the stabilizer. And yes, when you do a running stitch, it goes around twice, and that's okay. Oh, I forgot I had black bobbin thread in there. I'll have to change that. That's not going to show up anyway, so I'm fine with that. But I don't want my black bobbin thread in there for the rest of it. Okay. So my next stitch is going to be, or your next stitch should be also the outside flower design. Is there a difference between fusible fleece and fusible batting? Batting is, a lot of times batting has cotton in it, and fusible fleece is more of a polyester. So you'll find with batting, you'll find like an 80-20 or something like that. But fusible fleece is all polyester. I don't use it for quilts a whole lot, but I love it for in the hoop projects because it just fuses right on and gives it enough of the little plushiness I like that looks like quilting, kind of gives it that effect. Oh, that's so cute. Now I get the question all the time, when I'm doing a fill, why does it cut and move? You can make it not do that, but you have to put an outline around it. So if you're in the Altair Meridian, it automatically puts an outline on the fill stitching. And the Solaris, it automatically turns it off. I personally, for most projects, turn it off. Dolores, I probably won't. You can just rewatch the video. Just for this one, I may not be able to get to doing the directions for this one. Let's see. What answer are you asking? Let's see. Okay. There we go. So Nancy, fusible fleece is polyester, where the batting always has cotton in it of some sort. I mean, I shouldn't say always because there's wool batting and all that. However, but most battings have like, if it's not 100% cotton, it may have like 20% polyester or something in there. And fusible fleece is always polyester. All right, so now what my screen is telling me is it's time to do the center part. So I'm going to cut my thread and change my colors. I was going to do a light gray in the center for this one. So I'm going to change my threads here super quickly for you. Sure. And I'm going to let my little honeycomb stitch out. This is going to be so cute. Okay, so now it's going to do the outline of the flower, but most importantly, the circle. So I'm just going to leave that gray in. It doesn't really bother me. That's looking really cute. This would be really cute with variegated thread. And Karen, yes, once this, once we're done with the live, it'll save to Facebook and you can rewatch at any time. And I'm just using a 75 needle tonight. So 75 embroidery needle. Get my next color ready. And the next color is going to be your words, I believe. I hope I got that right. Now, if for some reason, let me see here. Let me see. I think mine got a little out of order somehow. And let me return. I think mine got out of order, which, let's see, it did. Okay, let me get mine going back where it should be going. Sometimes you have to manipulate things, right? We've all been there. Now what I want to do. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Julie, mine did that too. And I'm not quite sure why, because I didn't do that with my first one. So what you'll have to do is skip that stitch, let it stitch out the words, then go back and use the plus minus keys to go back to that stitch. I'm not quite sure why mine and yours did that. It may have happened to other people. As it didn't happen to me earlier. So that might be something I need to look into for us, those of us who did it. Now for my words, I'm using a dark gray. A lot of times I like for words and stuff, instead of using the straight black, I like to use like a dark gray. It seems to add a little bit of softness versus a really stark dark color. So I'm going to hit start and let it start doing my letters. And then we'll have to back it up and go back to that last stitch, which is no big deal. I'm on it. I always do this. What kind of tape do I use? This is the Embroidery Perfection tape from RNK. So they're the makers of Floriani and most importantly, Embellish. So you want to take a look at that. Really, really great tape. Other people use, there's Kimberbell has a tearaway paper tape, which is nice. But also I know some people use medical tape. Look at her go. Marilyn, good question. You know, to me, it depends on what I'm working on when I turn my speed up and down. And when I'm working on something that's really thick, I will slow it down. If I'm working on a delicate fabric, I'll slow it down. When I'm doing something like this that's kind of all cotton based and there's not a whole bunch of thickness to it, I'll just leave it. I never put it to 1,000, but I'll keep it at about 9. Now for, okay, see, the grouping didn't work for me, guys. So there's got to be some way. So I'm just going to hit start again, and I'm going to be doing some research very soon. So Laura, the stitch that me and Julie had to swap was what would be the very last stitch, which is the outline shape of the flower. Yours may have ended up in the right spot. Somehow mine and hers got out of the wrong, they got in the wrong spot somehow. And that's just, I don't know. Things happen, stuff happens, right? When doing letters in black or dark gray, would you change from white to black in the bobbin thread? No, I don't, Julie. I don't do that at all. The only time I do that is when I have an edge and I can see underneath, but you're not going to be able to see this, so. And if your bobbin's incorrectly, if you use color sort, that probably would work. The only thing is you've got to make sure there are no other colors that are the same as the letters. So let's say the very first stitch you had as black and our letters are black. It would stitch out that very first stitch and then jump into our letters. So that's why when I'm telling you, or when we're designing stuff, I say select a green color or something like that. I keep all the colors separately, but as long as, yes, you could do that, as long as you have no other colors that are the same color as that specific part, if that makes sense. I was just trying to, I was hoping that the grouping would work. But it didn't seem to. Details. So it's now stitching out hand. It's going to do the embroideries next. This is looking great. I'm super excited. I love that our machines cut jump stitches. It makes life so much easier. We don't have to go back and trim all those little stitches. So nice. And this is looking too stinking cute. I can't wait to see y'all's when you post them up. I want to see everybody's. Almost there. Okay, so our last one's done. Now, if yours got out of whack, all you have to do, let's zoom down here and take a look, is select the plus minus button, and you can go through your parts and get to where you need to be. I'm just gonna go back here. I'll just go backwards. There we go. Nope, it's that one right there. So if that happened to you, Julie, it's okay. Yours is perfect. I'm sure it's beautiful. Let's darken that up. Okay, here's the last part. I'm gonna take these pieces off here. Ready for this? Okay. So now what we have is we're going to take our two back pieces that we have. And remember, we folded and pressed them, and you have two folded edges. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter which one goes on top or the bottom. It doesn't bother me. So I'm going to first lay one piece kind of up and over where the raw edge is laying near a little past the center. Then I'm going to overlap the other one. And the reason why I have it so big is because I'm going to stuff it. I don't like to make things where you leave a little open and then stuff them and then have to hand sew them closed. It's just, I'm too lazy for that. So I like to make a pocket back like this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of tape and lay it over that opening. And the reason why I'm doing that is so my foot does not get caught in that opening and cause all kind of havoc to my machine. And I'm pressing it down good so it can't even get caught in the tape. So here's my last stitch. I'm going to let it stitch out now. It's going to do that little triple stitch. But let me stop because it did not catch my bobbin. Oh, I wonder what happened there. If you ever have problems of it catching the bobbin in the very beginning, let me show you a little trick. What you can do, maybe because my bobbin is getting a little low there. So what you can do is you can take your bobbin and, thread it like normal. Press your needle down, but let me erase that because I took my thread out. We're going to start that over. Let's thread the needle first. There we go. And I like to hold my top thread, drop my needle, pull it back up, and pull my bobbin thread up and just give it a little bit of a tail. If you find that happens especially on basting stitches because they're so big. So you may want to try that. And I'll just back that stitch up. There we go. Need those last brain cells. That's cute. And generally with most of these tapes, it's okay to stitch through them. It's not going to really hurt anything. All right. Here we go. All right, now it's done. So all I have to do is remove my tape first. Get that off. Then I'm going to remove the whole project from the hoop. And I'm going to trim about I like to do about 1/8 of an inch away, especially on curves. Or if you want, you can go in and clip all the curves. But again, I'm the lazy sewer. So I'm just going to come in here and get off as much excess as possible first. And then I can go back and trim around. There we go. Okay. So I got rid of that. And now I can go around and go about 1/8 of an inch. Be very careful not to snip any stitches. Okay. The next thing I like to do is in between here, I do snip. And then that way around there, that'll help those little corner areas or whatever they're called just kind of fold in a little bit better. And this has a lot of fabric on it, so let me turn this down. Trim some more off here. There we go. When we're done with that, now it's time to turn inside out. Oh, I got it all. And I'm going to use my turning tool, wherever it may be. It's never where you need it to be. Now I'm just going to start flipping it inside out by using that pocket bag. Oh, so cute. And let me see. I have lost this thing 14 times today already. Where my turning tool is. I guess it's my fingers today. I guess my fingers are my turning tool today. There we go. And once you start getting it all pushed out, you're going to see you're going to have this cute little thing. Energy efficient. I like your thinking. Okay, let's see. Over here. Oh, I see it. It was where it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'm just going to take my turning tool and go in and smooth out those edges. And this is why we do that triple stitch, because we need to get in there and really smooth them out. And sometimes it takes a little bit of work. And then we need to get up underneath the other flap here, pushing out. Some people use chopsticks. Some people use pens. I like this one. It's made by R&K as well. It just stays flat and doesn't roll away, and it has a nice rounded edge versus a sharp edge. Okay, so there we go. Like that can be really done a lot better. But look how cute that is. So now all I would do is I would take some stuffing, open this up, and start putting the stuffing in as much as you want. You could even use those walnut shells if you want to. And as much as you want. And you can either, since this flap is so large, you can just leave it like this, or you can hand stitch it or use some seam tape right there to close it. I don't think you have to, but that's up to you. So now you have a place to put your needles when you still need to use them a little bit, or a little pin cushion, especially your hand needles. Those are always everywhere in my sewing room. So how cute is that? Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. The embellished one. Okay. So let me switch you back over to me. What are you? The dog's sitting here staring me down. So how cute is that? I mean, it really did come out pretty darn cute. So I have a new one. I have two now. I'll have to give one to my mother. She'll get the cute little dainty one, I'm sure. I know what I'm doing tonight. I'm so glad y'all like it. Super cute and really great gifts. And you know, I mean, if you make one, then you can just kind of make a bunch of them for your friends and, you know, be a great gift for retreat getaways or birthday gifts or whatever, just something super cute. So I'm glad y'all like it. How fun is this? I thought that was really cute. And the cool thing is although we made something fun, we used, you know how many aspects of your machine you just used? A lot. You used the built-in fonts, you use you know, the shapes tools and the IQ designer. So you did a lot of work on this tonight. So super cute. I love this one with the bees, of course. So where did I get my pattern? Um, Celeste, I designed it. I design anything that we make on here, I design myself. So that way you guys can learn how to do it. So I jump in and I design things so you can learn how to use your machine. So I'm glad y'all like this one. Now, quick little thing I want to tell you about, and I should have told you at the beginning, is I want to show you something. So I'm going to go over to Facebook real quick. And we are going to go to, and when you go to Facebook, I want you to type this in. I want you to type in Myers Sewing. Oops. M-Y-E-R-S Sewing Machine. And you'll see it right here popping up, Machine Company. And you're going to click on their page. And if you scroll down some, and just keep scrolling until you see a little picture right here that says, what can IQ do for you? And it says, join us for our virtual event on BabyLock's IQ Designer. Guess who's teaching that? Me. So that is going to be this Wednesday. When you click on that, or when you go there, oops, got a little thing. When you go there, you're going to read this, just click on see more and what you can do. And I'll make sure to post it again. I'll post it to our page tonight. And what you'll see is right here, it says eventbrite.com. What can IQ do? You're going to click on it. And there you go. You can sign up for this great class. So yay, I know Diane's taking it, yay. So if you would like a little bit more time with me this week, then you can totally do that. Okay, so enough of the shameless promotion. Here we go, okay. So what would be good stuffing which wouldn't dull the needle? You know, I just use that regular, I think this is the one my grandmother had. Where'd it go? It's over here. Oh, okay. I just use this stuff, the polyfill stuff. But you know, they do, I know like we sell at the shop, they have walnut shells that are ground. And I thought about putting that in there. And then I was like, oh gosh, I'll make a mess. You can put walnut shells that are ground in there. Some people say sand. So, you know, that's a good question. I am just going to, yeah. Can you watch it over and over? It'll be available for you for a month. That class will be. What are the projects? They're special. But they're in the Hoop projects. Not to be so vague, but I'm being vague. Okay, well, thank you guys so much once again for joining me tonight. So remember, next week or probably on Tuesday, I'm going to make a post, and that post will be a question. You answer that question, and you'll be entered into a giveaway. Members Zandra and Lori are giving away a membership to the or it's called Surge Fun Club. Yay! And I think I'm going to do some other gifts, and that giveaway will be next Sunday. So yes. So yes, Judy. Yes to your question. Okay, so I hope everyone has a great week. Yeah, it's week, isn't it? It's here again. So a great week. And thank you so much for joining me again this evening. And once you make your stuff, make sure to post it on the group so everyone can see it. Have a great week. And remember, shop local, shop small. And I will see you guys next week. Have a great week. And if I see you in the middle of the week to take the class, I see you then. Bye, everybody.